Sylvester Stallone sits in a Hollywood producer's office with his last $106 in his pocket when the producer slides a check for $325,000 across the desk. Says, just let us use someone else to play Rocky. What Stallone does in the next 10 seconds doesn't just shock the producer. It creates a decision that will echo through cinema history for the next 50 years. New York City, October 1975. A cramped one-room apartment in Hell's Kitchen, 52nd Street between 9th and 10th Avenue. Not the trendy Hell's Kitchen of today. The dangerous one. The one where you don't walk alone at night. The one where gunshots are background noise and sirens are lullabies. Stallone's apartment is on the 3rd floor. No elevator. Stairs that creak with every step. A radiator that clanks but doesn't heat. Windows that rattle when trucks pass. Cockroaches that don't even hide anymore. He's 29 years old. Broke beyond broke. $106 in his bank account. 3 weeks behind on rent. His wife pregnant. His car repossessed 2 months ago. His phone disconnected last week. He's been trying to make it as an actor for 7 years. 7 years of rejection. 7 years of you're not right for this. You talk funny. Your face is too asymmetrical. We're going another direction. 7 years of bit parts, background roles, blink and you miss it appearances that pay just enough to not starve, but never enough to actually live. 2 weeks ago, something happened. Stallone watched the Chuck Wepner fight on TV. Wepner, a journeyman boxer, a liquor salesman from New Jersey, nicknamed the Bayonne Bleeder because he cut easily and bled in every fight. Nobody gave him a chance against Muhammad Ali. Nobody, the odds were 40-1 against him. But Wepner lasted 15 rounds, knocked Ali down in the 9th, lost the fight but won something bigger, respect, dignity, the knowledge that he belonged in that ring. Stallone watched that fight, and something clicked. He saw himself, saw every struggling actor, saw every person told they weren't good enough, saw a story, not about winning, about lasting, about proving you belong, about getting knocked down and getting back up, about going the distance. He started writing that night. Couldn't afford a typewriter, so he wrote by hand, filled 90 pages in 3 days. Barely slept, barely ate, just wrote. The story of Rocky Balboa, a small-time boxer from Philadelphia who gets a shot at the heavyweight championship. Not because he's the best, because he's available. Because the champion needs an opponent, and Rocky is there. The ultimate underdog story. The script is raw, emotional, real. It's not polished. It's not perfect. But it's honest. It's got heart. Stallone knows it's good. Knows it's the best thing he's ever written. Knows this could be his shot. His Chuck Wepner moment. His chance to go the distance. He shows it to his agent. The agent reads it, loves it, starts shopping it around Hollywood. Within 2 weeks, there's interest. Real interest. United Artists wants it. They see the potential. They see Rocky. They see a small-budget, feel-good sports movie that could make money. They offer $75,000 for the script. $75,000. More money than Stallone has seen in his entire life. Money that would solve every problem. Pay the rent. Feed his family. Save his marriage. Give him breathing room. But there's a condition. United Artists wants Ryan O'Neal to play Rocky, or Burt Reynolds, or James Caan. Someone established, someone bankable, someone who isn't Sylvester Stallone. The producer explains it simply. You're a writer, not an actor. Take the money. We'll make your movie. You'll get the credit. You'll work again. This is how it works. Stallone says no. Says he has to play Rocky. The producer doesn't understand. Says, you need this money. Look at you. You're broke. You're desperate. Take the deal. Stallone refuses. The producer increases the offer, $100,000, then $150,000, then $200,000. Each time Stallone says no. Each time, the producer thinks he's insane. Stallone's wife doesn't understand either. They fight. She screams that they need the money, that he's being selfish, that he's choosing his ego over their survival, that he's throwing away their one chance. Stallone can't explain it in a way that makes sense to her, can only say, "This is my story. I have to be Rocky. If someone else plays him, it doesn't mean anything." The offers keep coming. Different studios, different producers, all wanting the script. None wanting Stallone. The number climbs. $250,000. $300,000. Finally, $325,000. Life-changing money. Money that would set up his family for years. Money that would make every struggle worth it. March 1976. Stallone sits across from the United Artists producers in their Sunset Boulevard office. Expensive furniture, original art on the walls, a view of the Hollywood Hills. Everything Stallone doesn't have, everything he dreams of having. The producer, Robert Chartoff, slides a check across the mahogany desk, $325,000, made out to Sylvester Stallone, already signed. All Stallone has to do is endorse it, sign away the role, let someone else be Rocky. Chartoff says, "This is it, final offer. You take this, or we walk. We'll find another script. You'll go back to being nobody. This is your last chance." Stallone looks at the check, $325,000. He has $106 in his account. He's 3 weeks from eviction. His wife is pregnant. He hasn't eaten a full meal in 4 days. His last audition was for a commercial, and he didn't get it. He's 29 years old and going nowhere. He picks up the check, holds it, feels the weight of it, the possibility, the escape. Then he does something. Chartoff never expects. He tears it in half, slowly, deliberately, tears it again, into quarters, places the pieces on the desk, says quietly, "I am Rocky. If Rocky doesn't work with me, then Rocky doesn't work. I'd rather have nothing and be true to this than have everything and watch someone else live my dream." The room goes silent. Chartoff stares at him, says, "You're making the biggest mistake of your life." Stallone stands up, says, "Maybe, but it's my mistake to make," walks out. The door closes. $325,000 stays on the desk in 4 pieces. Stallone goes home to his apartment, tells his wife what he did. She cries. Not tears of joy, tears of anger and fear and disbelief. She says he's ruined them, says he's chosen pride over family, says she doesn't know who he is anymore. Stallone doesn't argue, can't argue, because he doesn't know if she's wrong. 2 weeks pass. No calls, no offers. The script is dead. Hollywood has moved on. Stallone sells his wife's jewelry, gets $40, buys groceries, steals toilet paper from public restrooms, considers going back to working as a theater usher or a lion cage cleaner at the zoo like he did before, considers giving up acting entirely. Then his agent calls, says United Artists called back. They've been thinking. They can't stop thinking about Rocky, about the script, about Stallone's passion. They're willing to take a risk. They'll let Stallone play Rocky. But the budget is now tiny, $1 million instead of $20 million. Stallone gets $35,000 for writing, directing, and starring, no back end, no percentage. Just $35,000 flat. Take it or leave it. Stallone takes it instantly. Because it was never about the money, it was about the role, about being Rocky, about proving that he belonged in that ring. They shoot Rocky in 28 days. Brutal schedule, no money for retakes, no money for fancy equipment. They shoot in real locations. Real Philadelphia streets. Real ice rink. Real meat packing plant. Everything raw and real and authentic. The famous scene where Rocky runs up the Philadelphia Museum of Art steps. They had no permit, just ran up with a camera. Tourists in the background aren't extras, they're real people who happen to be there. The scene where Rocky punches the meat, that's a real meat warehouse. Real frozen beef. Stallone's knuckles bled. They kept filming. The movie wraps. Stallone doesn't know if it's good, doesn't know if anyone will see it, just knows he did it. He was Rocky. He went the distance. That's all that mattered. November 1976. Rocky premieres. Limited release. Small theaters. No marketing budget. No big stars to promote it. Just word of mouth. People start talking about this little movie, this underdog story, this raw, emotional, honest film about a guy who just wants his shot. The movie explodes, becomes a cultural phenomenon. People line up around blocks, sell out shows, standing ovations. Critics praise it. Audiences love it. Rocky earns $117 million domestic, over $225 million worldwide, on a $1 million budget. Best Picture at the Oscars. Best Director. Best Film Editing. 10 nominations total. Stallone nominated for Best Actor and Best Original Screenplay. The first person since Charlie Chaplin to be nominated for both in the same film. $325,000 he turned down becomes $225 million in box office. More importantly, it becomes a legacy. Rocky becomes one of the most beloved characters in cinema history. The franchise eventually earns over $4 billion. Spawns 5 sequels, the Creed franchise, cultural impact that lasts 50 years. The steps in Philadelphia become a tourist destination. People still run up them, still take pictures with the Rocky statue, still feel inspired. But here's what matters most. If Stallone had taken that $325,000, none of it happens. Someone else plays Rocky. The movie maybe gets made, maybe doesn't, probably flops because it doesn't have the authenticity. Because Rocky only works when it's real, when it's raw, when it's someone who actually understands being knocked down and getting back up. Stallone didn't just create a character. He became the character. His real struggle, his real hunger, his real desperation, all of it shows on screen. You can't fake that, can't act that, can only live it. And Stallone lived it. Lived every moment of Rocky's journey because it was his journey. Years later, interviewers ask Stallone about turning down $325,000. Ask if he ever regretted it. Ever wondered what if? Stallone always says the same thing. If I had taken that money, I would have had $325,000 and no soul. I would have sold the one thing that meant everything to me. Would have spent the rest of my life wondering what could have been, what I could have done if I'd just believed in myself enough to take the risk. He says, Rocky wasn't just a movie. It was proof that you don't give up on yourself even when everyone else has. Proof that the biggest risk is not taking a risk. Proof that sometimes the only way to win is to refuse to lose on someone else's terms. Robert Chartoff, the producer who offered $325,000, later said, "When Stallone tore up that check, I thought he was the dumbest person I'd ever met. 3 months later, I realized he was the smartest. He understood something we didn't, that Rocky only works if Rocky is real. And Rocky was only real if Stallone played him. He was willing to lose everything to keep that truth intact. That's not stupidity. That's courage." The torn check. Stallone keeps the pieces, frames them in his office. Not as a trophy, as a reminder. A reminder of the moment he chose belief over money, chose integrity over security, chose the long shot over the sure thing, and won. Not just won everything. Today, Sylvester Stallone is worth over $400 million, has starred in some of the biggest franchises in history, has inspired millions of people, has created characters that will outlive him, all because in 1976, with $106 in his pocket, he made a decision that made no sense to anyone, a decision that looked like suicide, a decision that was the bravest thing he'd ever do. What would you do? What have you given up? Because someone offered you money? Because someone told you to be reasonable? Because everyone said you were crazy? How many times have you traded what you believe in for what's safe? Stallone didn't. One time, when it mattered most. He didn't. And that decision created Rocky, created a legacy, created proof that believing in yourself when no one else does isn't stupidity. It's the only way great things happen. You don't need Hollywood. Don't need millions. Just need one moment, one decision, one time when you refuse to compromise, when you tear up the check and walk out. That's when you become Rocky. That's when you go the distance. That's when you prove you belong in the ring. Stallone did it with $106 and a dream. What's your excuse?